And welcome back, guys, to another game of Alternative Reforged between Rusty and I. This one is going to be featuring Dunland, played by myself, and Isengard is what Rusty's bringing, so it's kind of a rebellion of Dunland sort of scenario. This is on a new map that I created for my submod. For the next version, I will rename the Ultimate Compilation mod as a submod for Third Age Reforged. But yeah, this map is called Northern Bastion. It's supposed to be a map representing a stronghold of Arthedain against Wildmen of the North and against the orcs of the Misty Mountains and the evil men and orcs of Angmar. But for today's purposes, we'll say this is a small city of the Dunnish people, and they will be fighting for their freedom against the tyrannical White Wizard. And we'll see how things go. So, before things get started, let's go through our army comps, just blitz through them real fast. We'll go at 0.3 speed. So, in my army, I've taken Dunherd Marksmen. These guys are, let's see, I can't open up the unit card, but these guys have a missile attack of 5. They've got melee stats somewhere in the 7 attack mark, and something like 6 or 7 in melee defense. Really poor armor, but they can hide anywhere. They're kind of a hybrid between a marksman unit and a ranger unit. They can hide anywhere. They've got the ammo supply of a marksman unit, and their arrows are poison. So that's kind of what the Dunherd Marksmen are about. Got 2 units of Dunman Hunters, which are exactly as they were in Vanilla Reforged. And they're pretty anxious to fight, as you can hear them saying, "I'll cut your heart out." They're just going to chill out here for a bit. Next we've got the Dunherd Swordsman, rather, sorry. I've got 3 units of them. They're a very reliable sword and board unit. They're actually not far off the mark from Gondor infantry, so they'll hold their ground really well. In fact, I think they may even be, they may even have the same stats as Gondor infantry. I can't remember, I'd have to look it up. But with a larger unit size, for somewhere in the ballpark at the same cost. They might be a little bit more expensive. So, very reliable mid-tier or entry-tier sword and board unit. And any of the models that you guys don't recognize as having come from Reforged, I've taken from Divide and Conquer. So that's where these models come from. And so the Divide and Conquer team gets all the credit for these gorgeous models. They did a really good job with it. That's the case back here with Wolf's Warmaids. These are, they're a inspiring unit. They do, they have the Druid chant, and they can hide anywhere, as you can see that they're doing here. But they're kind of on the lower end of the spectrum as far as two-handed swordmaster shock infantry goes. They only have an armor value of 3, which is really low. But you can't take 2 of them. They are relatively cheap. They can hide anywhere, and as I say, they have a morale buff and debuff. So that's the bonuses of them. I've taken Wolf's Mounted Readers. These are the Riders of Orthanc, I think is what they're called, normal Reforged. So any model that's not from Divide and Conquer is obviously from Reforged. So I don't have the skill yet, the modding skill, to be able to make new models. So I'm just repurposing. That's really the point of this mod. I'm just expanding existing ones and compiling pieces that I think from different mods that I think would fit well together. So we've got one of those. We've got I've already been through the Dunherd Swordsman, and I've got 2 of the Wolf's Warmaids. Been through them. I have 1 unit of Dunherd Pikemen. They're very good pikes. Very good pikes. not quite as good as some of the Western Kingdoms of Men, necessarily. Although I would say they can hang in there with most of them. The thing that really sets them apart from most other pike units is that they've got a shield value. But they don't have armor piercing or anything like that. It's just they have a really good unit size, They've got a shield value, and they've got a solid melee skill for a pike unit, along with a really high attack for a pike unit. I think it's somewhere in the ballpark of like 8 or 9. It's really good. Then we have Dunland pikemen. You, as Dunland, get exclusive access to Dunland pikemen now. Root Hour can no longer take them. They're pretty much the same as they were before in normal Reforged. Same stats. You can only take 2 of them. They're just but they have a really high attack despite their really low armor value. And cheap pikes, I think, in Medieval 2 generally are a very overpowered choice. So I've made sure to take a couple of those. Got 3 units of Dunland and Veterans. They're exactly as they were in normal Reforged. You and Isengard have access to these. It's more actually a case, instead of like it is in the current patch of Reforged, where Dunland borrow units from Rudauer and Isengard. It's kind of the other way around, where Isengard borrow units from Dunland, and I think that's kind of how it should be. But yeah, so they're AP, line infantry, the lower melee skill than your typical sword and board unit, but they've got the AP in exchange, and they've got a really good unit size too. You can take. I've taken 3 of them, so that's what you can take before the red limit in my submod. I think the only other thing I need to cover are the crossbows, which are the Dunherd Watchmen. These guys are kind of they're kind of an interesting unit. They've got these really large shields, so they do get a small shield bonus. They are abysmal in melee combat, though. Horrible. And their crossbows, I think, give them a ranged attack of 6, maybe 7. This is, again, one of the models I took from Divide and Conquer. They're the Journeymen of Bree. I thought they kind of had a sort of Menhiriath or pseudo-Enid Wythe. Not quite Wildmen, but they've got a sort of rugged look to them that I thought fit well with Dunland. And I was looking for units to fill in Dunland's lack of thrown projectiles. I think they needed some kind of AP, ranged AP. And then finally we've got Wolf's Reavers here. Oh, one thing I'll mention to you, just drive home the point, that you want to keep these guys out of melee combat at all costs. Their melee attack is 3, and their weapon skill, or their melee skill, I think, is 2 or 3 as well. They're abysmal. They do pull out hammers that are armor piercing, but the value of their melee attack is so low that it's just not worth it. And then Wolf's Mounted Reavers. These are the Spears of Orthanc. I don't think their stats have changed. I think the only thing that may have changed is they might have gone down in cost. But, yeah, you only get 1 before the red limit. I've made sure to take them because they've got good crossbows, good shield, and halberds when they're done. Oh, and there's the general there. Dunland leading Dunland's resistance today. So that's Dunland's army, and we're moving into a grace period here where I'll be rushing everything into the settlement, trying to set up shop. Back here, though, we've got Rusty's Isengard force. And he's got 2 crossbows. Isengard Ballista, which Ballista's in this mod. When I get around to doing the orcs, I'll cover them more thoroughly, but the orc factions, I mean, I'll cover them more thoroughly. But their Ballista has more ammo now than it did before. Only mildly. It only has like 3 or 4 more bolts than it did before. I think it's up to 15 now, I want to say. Whereas before it was like 10 or 12. I can't remember completely, complete certainty, but it's something like that. But there's this other unit of crossbows. Where's this other stuff? Looks like it is here. Yep, so he's got one. He's actually got 2 units of Nazkai in this game. It sucked to be on the receiving end of that. Guards of Orthanc you can now take 2 of. Dunland can actually take them as well. That's the only unit that Dunland really borrowed from Isengard. I guess the other way around as well, happening at the same time. Complicated, but anyway, you have to set the time era to specials in order to get them as done. Trolls of the White Hand, all the same. Half-Orc Vanguard, Barakai Pikemen. Snaga Skirmishers, I believe he's got 2 of those. I think he's got, does he have 2 Vanguard, or is it just 1? I think he has 2. I don't know where they are, though. I think he's got some stuff hidden kind of over here on the mini-map as well. Skirmishers, Spear Guard. Pretty normal Isengard army. I think he's got, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure he's got his pikemen over here. He brought 2 or 3 units of pikes, if I remember correctly. Yeah, here they are. They're showing up here now. So yeah, there's a unit at Nazkai. There's more Vanguard. Pikes. I think he's got a unit of Snaga Skirmishers over here as well. He does. There's this other unit of Guards of Orthanc. He likes to set them up in type 4, or in balance formation, whatever the formation is that they did. Right from the get-go. I guess I like to run my units up to where they need to be, and then put them in whatever formation they need to be in. Just to save time. But no worry, he doesn't really need to worry about that though, because he's the attacker, so he just set the pace of things. And I think he's got 1 unit of Berserkers, which I'm thinking about changing that in the next version, so that they come in a slightly smaller unit size, but you can take 2 before they're ready. I mean, that's kind of what I'm mulling over. Yeah, there's this Berserkers right there. I believe that's it. He didn't take... Oh, he's got Alert's hunting pack somewhere, too. I want to say they're over here. Which Alert's hunting pack are now a General's Bodyguard tier unit. So they're 2 hit points with a 2-handed sword. And they fire an arrow that is both high mass and armor piercing. They no longer have body piercing. And yeah, I think we'll just go ahead and speed things up here. Pretty sure that's it. Oh, he's got a... If I didn't cover it, he's got a ballista. There's his Alert's hunting pack.
Right, this way.
Oh, I did cover the ballista, good. Yeah, that's his Alert's hunting pack. It's popped up. I don't know where he's put his general, though. I don't know if it was in here, or if it was in his, one of his Nazkai units. And he looks like he's sending a unit of crossbows around. I do remember him having crossbows on both of my flanks, so... And yeah, we'll just continue at normal speed until things start. I'm frantically trying to set up shop here. And one of the problems with this map that I'm going to have to fix is that you can actually come up here. That was unintentional. I did not mean for attackers to be able to scale this here. I meant for them to have 2 ways in, for this to be a solid defensive map. But with plenty, but you know, if an attacker were to set up down here with archers, they could get some good kills on units that were up on these earthen walls here. So, like, why don't we just zoom ahead 2 or 6 times speed until things get really put in position here. setting up crossbows here. Now, the sprites for some of these units should be set, should be coded in, but for some reason it's not taking with the Dunland Watchman or the Wolf's War Maids, so that's something I'll have to fix. And I'll have to add in all the unit cards, which I don't... It's not hard, it's just I don't have the time at the moment in med school, and it's just tedious. But I'll get that done before I release the next version. So, looks like things are getting close to getting started. What I've decided I'll do is I'll have my Dunland Marksmen, Dunland Hunters up here, and I'll have some Wolf's War Maids over here on the side, hiding, so that should he try to charge things in, they'll pop up and charge in, and start chanting as they fight. They'll both buff my morale and debuff his, and then I decide I'm just going to sneak them behind this building. And I'm going to wall things up here with Dunland veterans. They're not going to hold out for forever against these things. They certainly won't win. But they'll hold on long enough that I'll be able to get a lot of my ammo dumped into this attack here. Because he has roughly split his army in half. So if I can win with a bit of breathing room on this side, I think I can go on to win if I can just quickly shuffle units back around, move resources over to the other side. And with so many units on the battlefield today, it'll be a little tricky. It'll be doable, but it'll be a little bit tricky to try to micro both sides. But I was interested in how Rusty was going to hold things off. We're sending forward some Vanguard that do pretty well against Dunland veterans. I think it'll be reasonable fight. You'd probably say the half of the Vanguard will probably come out on top. It's just a 1v1. But it's not. It's not going to be 1v1. I'm going to shoot into his side. And I'm trying to rattle into the... trying to shoot off into his pikemen. And we are decimating these pikes here. We've got the Dunland Marksman firing through the ground. He'll cause fear. I probably should have been shooting into the Vanguard here. But I think they'd get a shield value, so I didn't want to be shooting on the left side with only average arrows and cause fear. I thought I'd try to shoot to the right side with the Dunland Hunters here. I was hoping it'd run into the right side and hide the shield value, but I think it's really coming into the front, so their shields are going to come in front, unfortunately. We're holding them up here. We've got some... We'll pull the Dunlanding veterans for holding position here in, and we've still got our War Maids here ready to spring a trap, should the time come. Now, one thing Rusty's doing, I don't know if maybe he saw me move them down. Maybe not, I'm not sure. But he's moving his Snaga skirmishers up, and he's going to run them close enough to discover my War Maids. Now, that's kind of double-edged sword for them, no pun intended, because they will butcher Snaga skirmishers. So he's going to lose a lot of potential skirmishing power here. And you really want to use up your Snaga skirmisher ammo, because they are so cost-effective, given the damage that they can do with their cheap jabs. And dear lord, you can see the fire pouring into the Eisenberg. Dunland are very much a phalanx and arrow faction. But yeah, so he's discovered them. At least he knows they're here now, so he's run his berserkers in. Poorly armored berserkers, though, are going to have a rough time getting shot up so bad like this. And see, the thing is, already this flank is kind of crumbled. under the pressure of pikes and guards of Orphan. Though, looking at this, looks like those Dunland veterans would probably easily have their points back. If this is what the guards of Orthanc have left, being around 60 before they started taking more arrow fire, so I'm pretty pleased with how they've done. Over here, the Dunland veterans are doing surprisingly well against both Nas High, 64 on left, and I think there's still some pipe. Yes, there are. We whittled them down to 70, so we cut them down in half, and they would be getting ripped to shreds even more if it weren't for me needing to pour ammo into the Berserkers. Got the Berserkers down to 36 now, which is pretty stunning. Just goes to show you that you've got to keep your Berserkers away from arrow fire because they will go down very quickly. He did get his Snaga skirmishers coming back from routing. They have decimated my War Maids. War Maids are no match for Berserkers, but they're just really there to hold them in place at this point, so that I can just continue to rip Berserkers to shreds with all the arrow fire coming their way. So having been victorious down here, he's going to try to charge me up here. But I'm going to try to slam the door shut from this side of things. So I ran down my other unit of Wolf's War Maids, which are hiding up over here. Ran them down here. I'm going to charge into the back of these pikemen. He's only got 54 in that unit left. And we've run down mounted reavers who are going to shoot their crossbows into the... Let's say they're going to shoot into the... Nazkai, or was it the Guards of Orthanc? One of those units. These hunters may have been close to out of ammo, if not completely out of ammo at this point. So I'm happy to leave them in melee. Even if they still had ammo left, I'm still happy to leave them in melee. It means that my marksmen are going to have more time to use up their ammo. I'd rather use up their ammo than... I'd rather lose Dunman Hunter ammo than lose Dunhard Marksman ammo. And now we've got Dunhard Watchmen with crossbows here, who are going to be... Let's see where they're firing. Coming over into... let's say that's into pikes. Yes, I believe it is. To the pikemen. Getting a good sight swipe here. And now I've charged into the Berserkers and what's left of these pikemen. With my second unit of Wolf's War Maids, and I got into them before they could get their pikes down, so that's going to deal with them pretty well. He did manage to sandwich me with what's left of his Berserkers, so I'm going to have to... I didn't even notice this, but I guess I got lucky, because I really should be dealing with this point blank using the mounted reaver crossbows. We're 24 for 32, so I'm 8 ahead. Which is, you expect that level of, you expect that kind of margin at this point. Still early days. And yeah, we're firing with the mounted reavers up into the... I'm going for the Nas High. Yeah, right here. And there's only 24 for this one now. There was 60 before they put this. So we're doing pretty well. The marksmen run out of ammo, so I'm charging them in just to shore things up while I'm out of firing. Looks like he's getting Snaga skirmishers in there. And that's really providing a lot of the wolf in his line, so if I can break them, I think we can do pretty well. Half-orc Vanguard are routing. Good stuff to see. Got the War Maids waiting here. At this point I'm debating whether or not I want to send them in and close the door on them. But it looks like they're I'm doing pretty well with that. So I'm just going to keep doing this. Fire facing defeat from archers here. And they're continuing to take crossbow fire. And it looks like Rusty's beginning his push on this side as well. Just a couple, maybe a couple hundred frames into it. I saw him lurch forward, and I had a line, when I still have it, it's actually still intact. My Dunland pikes behind my Dunland swordsman, and seeing things weren't going so well over here for him, he decided to launch forward first with the trolls. And the only thing I would say about his attack here is I think he could have, if he had had this following right on the heels of his trolls, because there was a bit of a lag between them, I think he could have ended up doing more damage, maybe even winning the game, because this one does come down to a pretty close game. Excuse me. But I came forward with all my Reavers here, and with my 2 units of armor-upgraded Dunland Berserkers to try to deal with these trolls in the right hand. He's firing into us with Snaga skirmishers, which is going to get... They will easily get their cost back. But now I've set up my other crossbows here, and I am going to launch crossbows into the sides of these pikes. There we go. And that's a tough thing to have to deal with. But Rusty's not giving up with that. And, you know, after taking 10 losses, I just rushed to get them into combat. But this was always going to be kind of the strength that I was going to get. Got another unit of Guards of War being 80 up. But the problem is, on this side, is that I'm able to launch it to his right side, so none of these highly shielded units are able to take advantage of their good shield. We're really dropping these pikes. He's lost 50 just from a single one volley or 2 volleys. Looks like he's trying to get set up here. He is getting some good hits. Well, the Reavers will shred off that javelin fire with their really good shields. But the Dunland Berserkers, they will not join. Pikes are doing very well, actually, holding back Noskai and the Guards of War. Really good here. Berserkers and Dunland swordsmen close with the enemy here. They'll get in, but they will struggle against, particularly against the Guards of War. Pikes now down to 83 men, and yeah, now they're saying defeat is certain. Now I've got these Wolf's Reavers, and I think I'm microing over on the other side, so I'm not immediately ready to start firing, but the idea is to get them right next to these pikes and tee off them. And we're still launching our crossbows. So now we've got more crossbow fire coming into them. These pikes are just going to fold under pressure. He's got a few other units back here. Yes, indeed. Here come the Lurtz Hunting Pack and the Eisenberg Ballista, as well as a fresh unit of crossbows, which I think are sorely needed. And he's gonna have a pretty clear shot into these Dunland Watchmen, which isn't the end of the world because they've already used a lot of ammo, but it is going to reduce the amount of firepower I'm going to have to sideswipe and give myself an unfair melee advantage over there. but he wants to be careful not to pour too much ammo into them, because, you know, one of these units, any one of them, is sufficient enough to deal with that. You don't want to waste too much ammo. I don't think Dunland Watchmen are worth all your ammo. Wolf Reavers continue to fire, I believe. They're fighting.
Only half the enemy force remains!
That's half of Eisenberg gone. It's actually both over half of them. Dunland pikes, running them in. Gonna get them set up here, and then walk them into combat. It's kind of the best way to use pikes, if I'm being honest. They're too slow to keep them in formation. Just puts them out in the way of arrow fire for a prolonged period of time. It's really not necessary. So I like to run my pikes in, get them set up, and they will hold back even something like God's Eye for a good bit just because of the reach. Drop it. Let's see. Pikemen in Medieval 2 tend to be really overpowered, just given the nature of their animation. It's very difficult to actually get to grips in a melee fight, so I do recommend pikes. Now back over here, yeah, this was predictable, and I should have seen it coming, but I was busy microing over there to remember that a bit. But he is, I would say he's maybe pouring a little bit more ammo into these guys than is necessary. I think if you were to use just the crossbows, it could do the job well enough. Then you would have...
We've lost half of our men!
Sorry about the announcer. You would have your Lord's hunting backpack to be able to fire from this position, so you can shot straight down into me. Got Wolf's Reavers back here that are working on firing, so they're about to fire into these. That's exactly what I need to be doing, is shutting them down. He's got his ballista set up here. Looks like it was... Pardon me. It was doing some good work a minute ago. Let's see if we can keep that up. Back over here, I'm just cleaning up back here, although I don't really have that much left. We're just fighting against a unit of Snaga skirmishers and maybe some crossbowmen. There's only 4 left. And really, we're just using Dunland's archers. Dunland's archers are sufficient enough at melee that with their high attack and high weapons, relative to other competent units, they tend to be able to win against other archers and melee. So that's seeing the skirmishers off. We have moved up the next unit of Watchmen, and I'm going to try to keep Oh yeah, sorry, I missed that. That was a ballista shot that got some really unfortunate friendly fire, so that helped me a lot. Things were starting to look Rusty's way and that route. It's gonna see me be able to reform my lines and yeah, I'm trying to encircle him with my pikes. Wolf's Reavers are still firing, and again, their purpose in firing is really just to suppress the Lord's hunting pack, which are now down to 2 guys. That's sad. So many of them. They just got ripped to shreds. That's the problem with 13th Impact, though. They don't have very good armor. Now we're trying to deal with the ballista. And despite the
Our
way
men have
things
slain
look,
the enemy general.
there goes the
Without
general.
him, his troops will lose their will to
Lost
fight.
Despite the way things look, it's actually a pretty tight battle. I'm only up by 5%, where I was up by almost 10. Ouch, that's a lot of ballistic root. Looks like he's looking to fire into my Dunland Watchman over there. I just don't see how that is going to cause him to power or anything, because that's kind of what he needs at this point.
Victory is ours!
And there you
Let it be a salve upon our wounds!
So I think at that point it probably was pretty decided. He wasn't going to be able to get very many good shots off. I was slowly picking apart his trebuchet. But there you have it. That's the newest Alternative Reforged we play. We'll have some more coming here soon. Kind of a shorter one today. Looks like Rusty actually got more kills than me, but I managed to deploy almost 1,000 more men than him. So that's a real strength of Dunland, is their strength in numbers. Alright, so we will catch you all later, and we'll get this posted here in the next couple days. So, yeah, see ya.